me tell you something, brother. I don't know what you heard about me, but I'm straight.
No, it's not about that, brother. It's all good. I'll appreciate it. Just appreciate it.
Nice, what's your name?
Paul.
Nice to meet you, Paul. But I'm straight. I'm not gay.
What's about it?
I know there's rumors about me and stuff.
No.
Hey, what's up, y'all? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. So a couple of things we have to go over today. Apparently, AJ Styles' son, he sounds like he wants to fade on behalf of his daddy. Do I blame him? We'll get to that in a minute. AEW looks like they keep moving closer and closer to the fire. I love they like to be safe edgy, but you know that safe edginess is catching up with them. Maybe probably the gayest thing I've ever seen a wrestling fan ever tweet out ever in my life, and people are actually taking this shit seriously. And we got some updates when it comes to the Roger Jackson quote-unquote attempted murder case. Letting you guys know, spoiler alert, don't think there's gonna be attempted murder when it's all said and done. So we're good, we're caught up. All right, let's get into AJ Styles, and there's this whole little situation going on with his son. Right, so full disclaimer really quick, I did not watch Monday Night Raw last week, so I'm completely lost in the loop, completely lost in the sauce when it came to the actual match between AJ Styles and Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. But allegedly, he was caught cheating, or he was not caught cheating. Fuck, no, that sounds like my personal life. He was cheating in the match, and apparently that's how Dominic Mysterio ended up retaining his Intercontinental Championship. Sure. Fine, perfectly awesome, right? But apparently fans are outraged by this. I guess, you know, this was the straw that broke the camel's back, right? So apparently, right, there was this Instagram post that AJ Styles ended up putting up. I'll put it on the screen right here, where he was putting out an hourglass, and it's like his logo is ticking down. Obviously, it's essentially saying his time is coming up. Now people are speculating whether or not it means he's going to retire, because AJ Styles has been talking more and more about retiring, and I think he wants to retire in WWE. That's just my opinion, right? And I think he said he wanted to retire before he was 50 years old so he can keep up with some more of his other kids' special moments in their life, because he's been missing out so much on those special moments in his life, right? So he puts out this Instagram post, and like I said, there are a lot of fans speculating if that means he's going to leave WWE and go to AEW, which is something else that people are trying to, you know, grudge up a little bit or drudge up a little bit also. But that's neither here nor there, right? That's up to interpretation. What's not up to interpretation is the reactions. Like I said, fans are pissed off, and apparently AJ Styles' son is absolutely pissed off about this as well. So one of these fans, they ended up posting this on Instagram. They were saying, "The way Triple H is disrespecting AJ is legit pissing me off." Of which one of his sons, he replied with by saying, "You ain't the only one, man." And then here's my opinion. I think, and mind you, again, all of this is up to interpretation. This is all just observable, just based off of what I'm seeing currently right now at the moment. If his sons are feeling this way as far as seeing AJ lose in this manner, mind you, his sons are older. You know, AJ has sons ranging from like, what, 20 years old all the way down to like 16 or 15 years old. So I'm pretty sure they're very much aware that WWE is fake, wrestling is fake, right? But that still doesn't take away the fact that their dad is on TV being embarrassed every week, right? Even if it was in character, you're still portraying that character, and it's more of a reflection off of who you are, closer than any actor could be in regards to going off of their character, right? Like Heath Ledger playing the Joker, we know Heath Ledger is separate from the Joker, versus AJ Styles playing AJ Styles, or I guess Alan Jones, I guess, playing AJ Styles. You know, it's more of a closer reflection with the wrestler and the person portraying the wrestler. So it's going to make him look embarrassing, right? And I can't help but think, going off of that thought process, I'm not too, how do I put this? I'm not too sure about the fact that AJ Styles would just let his contract run out and just outright retire from professional wrestling. I like to think that AJ Styles has a bunch of pride. You know what I mean? And this is not me advocating for him to join AEW. This is not me advocating for him to stay with WWE. He can do whatever he wants to do. But I would like to think that there's so much pride in AJ Styles, even if it's just fake, that his sons seeing him in this manner, his daughter seeing him in this manner, the fans seeing him in this manner, people constantly speculating on whether or not he will just retire from WWE. I think they're not taking into context that there is some pride within AJ Styles and that he might want to join AEW and he might want to end it there, considering there's a new plethora of people that he could play around with, right? Considering that AJ Styles is someone who is high up there on Tony Khan's list of people that he would like to get on his roster, if for anything else, for a legacy act, not just for ROH, which AJ Styles also helped build up, but because there's just so many wrestlers that looked up to AJ Styles who currently reside in AEW at the moment. And there are some people who also are in that company that AJ has history with. You know, Christian Cage, he has history with, lots of history with Christian Cage. Edge, he has history with John Moxley, he has history with. Who's to say that AJ Styles would not want to join AEW, not just on a higher note, because he could. If you don't believe AJ Styles can't get more money out of AEW than WWE, you're out of your fucking minds. But also the schedule, because he is getting older, because of the people that he can feud with, that he already feuded with in WWE, people that he can venture out there and feud with, also like a Will Ospreay, for an example, who I know idolizes AJ Styles. Look at him as a hero. He's the main reason why he even got into professional wrestling to begin with. I think people need to take that into context when viewing this. And honestly, I look at Triple H and say whatever you want. You know, I get Triple H mindset as far as wanting to build up the younger talent and using the older guard to help do that. But there has to be ways in how you actually go out of your way to do that without ruining the prestige of the former name. You know, at this point, AJ Styles should be looked at in the same realm as like a Shawn Michaels circa 2007, circa 2008, circa 2009, right? When he was, you know, going towards his swan song, right? But instead, AJ Styles looks like he's on, it's like he has somewhat of the name value in regards to equating it to a Shawn Michaels, you know, as far as looking at it from this generation's perspective versus the previous generation's perspective. But as far as the actual legitimacy of a Shawn Michaels in comparison at that time when he was, you know, coming towards down his swan song versus AJ Styles swan song, it just feels like it's completely different. And you know, it's a shame. Like I said, AJ should be the Shawn Michaels of this generation, yet he's being treated in this manner. And it just goes to show you, and it goes on to tell you, the worthlessness of Triple H's booking. No one is advocating for AJ Styles to be a champion, but he should be in a higher regard and in a higher position compared to where he is right now, in regards to probably fulfilling a bunch of dream matches. You know, the thing with Shawn Michaels when he was treated at the time, because he is certainly in that same position somewhat, it's just one is treated with respect and the other one's treated with disrespect. You can take Shawn Michaels and put him with a Ric Flair. You could take Shawn Michaels and put him with an Undertaker. You could take Shawn Michaels and put him with a John Cena, Edge, Randy Orton, and all those guys. You could still get those matches and still have Shawn do stuff like a Mr. Kennedy here and there. You know what I mean? You could still put Shawn Michaels with a Jeff Hardy here and there. You know, that was the magic behind the Shawn Michaels. And it's like they're taking AJ Styles and they're just doing the Jeff Hardy, Mr. Kennedy part without focusing so much on the John Cena, Randy Orton, Triple H, you know, Undertaker part. So hopefully they can get it together. I would like to see AJ Styles do more years in WWE, but if not, you know, it is what it is. He goes to AEW. Hey, I'm not going to be opposed to it either. But on to the next topic.
Jobs are so stupid. My manager gonna tell me, he said, I feel like you only come here for a paycheck. Duh, nigga, you think I come here for fun? No, I'm not here for the betterment of the company. I hope y'all fail. I hope y'all don't open tomorrow.
Okay, so check it out. Apparently this post was not going viral necessarily, but like within the wrestling community, I guess you could say it was going viral, but it wasn't going viral overall. I'm not sure if I can show the video, because it's from a fan cam, so I think it might be okay. But even with a fan cam, AEW's been really notorious as far as copywriting claiming videos. Someone by the name of Don, I think it was Stevens, something like that. It's in my mind, but I can't quite remember. But this person is going around copyright claiming videos and stuff like that, even if it's affiliated with AEW via someone's cell phone. So I don't want to take any chances. Plus, it's a minor that's involved, so you got to be really, really careful with that kind of stuff. But I can at least throw up a screenshot real quick, right? Here, look at this screenshot. This here is Don Callis going out of his way to choke out the little kid from the Rizzler or whatever the fuck those guys are. I don't keep up with that bullshit. But the thing is, right? The thing is, there was this guy who put out this post. He said, and I quote, "In WWE, it's okay to have a sex predator who's listed 44 times in the sex trafficking lawsuit on your show." This is what they said in response to this person saying, "In AEW, it's okay to choke kids." And then he puts like little heart emojis and stuff like that. Look, here's my thing. One is proven. As you can see from the photo, you trying to goalpost move to something that A, you ready for this? Hasn't been proven in court yet. And B, you are legitimately, technically speaking, until it's actually being done, you and your cohorts within AEW are defaming people without it actually being litigated in court. You can say whatever you want to say about the action being disgusting. You can say you don't like Vince McMahon doing this. You can say Brock Lesnar, all this other kind of stuff, right? Until it was proven that they done anything terrible in court, you use phrases like sex predator and sex trafficking. All you're doing in the end of the day is going out of your way to suggest that these people are these things when they have not been proven to be said things. And like I said, that's defamation of character. That's what Rampage Jackson was alluding to, but unfortunately is not the case in consideration with his son Raja. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. Why do you have to move the goalposts? Ignore all that for a second. Why do you have to move the goalposts from something that is actively detrimental to your show's brand? Right? You don't have to be told that choking a kid on camera not only causes horrible optics, but like, hello? You're choking a kid on television. Now, again, if you leave it up to me, I say to myself, obviously Don Callis isn't legitimately choking a kid. Obviously, we look at movies, we look at television shows, we read books, we hear music, and you hear more disturbing things happening to kids on those platforms versus what you're seeing Don Callis doing. If you ask me, I say, what's the big deal? It's all acting in the end of the day, right? But for you to have to hear me say that and agree with that, AEW fanboys, or anybody for that matter, right? You would then have to agree that we should start taking more risque chances when it comes to professional wrestling and not constantly having to take everything and believe that because it's being said, whether it's racist, whether it's homophobic, whether it's transphobic, whether it's ableist, whether it's any of these obis, hobic, whatever nonsense you be hearing all the time online or whatnot for people to use to deflect accountability or whatever, or to get virtue signaling points. If you're going to grandstand on this issue right here, and this is going to be your reference point, right? My thing is, you will have to be consistent, and you will have to be okay with the creative goalposts being shifted constantly, right? Or maybe I shouldn't even say goalposts, because that has a terrible connotation that's attached to it when it comes to people, again, deflecting. But essentially, you just have to be more open to creative interpretation whenever discussing anything, right? If someone wants to go out of their way and then they want to use the N-word on television, I say, why not? If someone wants to go out of their way and they want to say the F slur on television, I say, why not? Because again, for you to say it's okay to actively depict a kid being abused on television, are you going to actively say child abuse is somehow not worse than saying words out of your mouth? Is that the hill you want to die on? Is that the hill you want to die on? Is it characters on television or is it characters not on television? What is it? Because I'm open for this to happening. And I'm also okay with everything else happening. As long as it accentuates the character on television, that's all I care about. But hey, like I said, let them die on that hill. Let them die on that hill.
I'm standing on the train and look at all these men. What happened to giving up your seat for women? No man offered me a seat. Excuse me, are you going to get up?
What?
Are you going to get up?
Are you pregnant?
No.
Are you for equality?
Yes.
Speaking of equality, I like to think, I don't know, call me crazy, right? Like I said earlier, I don't care about your sex, I don't care about your gender, I don't care about, whether or not you're an ableist, I don't care about your race. I like to attack everybody equally. I'm an equal opportunist offender. That's how I like to see myself. So if I have to constantly spend 99% of my time going after straight people for the stupid shit that they do, then I feel it's only right if I go after the gay community for the stupid shit that they do. Speaking of gay, check this out. This person, quite frankly, posted what I perceive to be the gayest tweet in the history of maybe the IWC, maybe in Twitter history. I don't know. I'm still trying to speculate here. But this guy ended up, because obviously we know AJ Lee just returned, right? And this person ended up putting out this tweet, and he was like going over all... Here, I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it for yourself, and I'll read it verbatim. He said, "This is AJ Lee's cage match ratings. Everyone in the AEW women's division has a better match resume than this woman. Quite possibly the most overrated and overhyped female I've ever seen in my life, simply because of who she's married to." And then you look at the screen right here, and it's like all these matches. This dude is actually unironically taking score ratings from Dave Meltzer and Cage Match, or maybe not even Dave Meltzer, even worse. It's one thing if it was Dave Meltzer, right? At least then you can say to yourself, okay, it's some guy who thinks he has credibility because he's been in the business for a long time, right? At least there's a number next to his name, when inevitably you see an asterisk next to his name when it comes to journalists, but you get my gist, right? At least he can pretend to be a journalist. What we're doing here is taking a minute fan base within a minute fan base who cares strictly about one category, and they strictly base it off of how many moves you can do, and therefore the amount of moves. Never mind the expression of the moves, never mind the selling, never mind the overall psychology when actually going by these matches in itself, right? We look strictly at the actual athleticism that coincides with the move. These people judge matches based off of that, right? And sometimes they won't even judge it off of that. Maybe they'll look at the past and judge you on that criteria, and they probably gave you so many consistent ratings that there's a confirmation bias that typically aligns with your name, and you can have a shitty match 20 years later, but because you got so many high ratings previously, that means that your name value automatically gives you those star ratings, even though your match was absolute dog shit, right? See Kenny Omega for an example. My point being is, though, these people vote on this cage match rating bullshit. This is typically where hardcore wrestling fans go to vote and tell you who happens to be a good wrestler or who happens to not be a good wrestler. Well, they did that, and apparently, according to this guy, that means that AJ Lee is overhyped, she is overrated because she's not good in the ring. Now, I'm not here to suggest that AJ Lee is good in the ring. I don't give a fuck about their criteria. I just personally believe that AJ Lee fucking sucked when it comes to in-ring capabilities, right? For one reason or another compared to the women of today. That does not mean that I'm going to ostracize fans because of how they view their favorite wrestlers. Now, I'll even go a step further, and I like AJ Lee coming back for one reason and one reason only, because it's the complete antithesis of what these dorks think on cage match, race, seating, whatever the fuck they call their website. Because you look at AJ Lee, and this goes for all the match marks out there, she's not a good in-ring performer, right? She may have her moments here and there with people like Caitlyn, for an example, but 9 times out of 10, she's not a good performer from an in-ring perspective. But you know why you liked her? Because she's a character. Now, me personally, I thought her character was cringe, but that's beyond the point. We're talking about objective facts here, right? She is a character. She got over because of the character that she played on television. She got over because of what she meant to you as a character. I like her being back because if for anything else, even if she wasn't my cup of tea, she reminds people that not everything has to be strictly based on what these cage match dorks think. These cage match idiots over here, these freaks over here who say that she's overrated, they're the reason that professional wrestling is in the state that it's in currently right now, right? Because so many producers, so many people, so many lazy executives, they want to skirt around the issue, right? Which would mean to actually plunk down money to maybe give better production, give better stories, give better angles. And they know why do all that when we can cover TV time by putting this ass hat and this ass hat over here, get them in the ring, do a bunch of kung fu fucking moves, and that's enough. And then when you incentivize those people to do those kind of things, then what do you think happens to the industry as a whole? So to be quite frank, I look at what AJ Styles, I look at what AJ Lee has done since her return, which has not been much, if anything else, nothing, but we'll see as time goes on. I see her coming back as a positive. If for nothing else, it reminds the dorks who are obsessed with that, who have to now come into conflict with the fact that they grew up on AJ Lee, to suggest in their mind, oh, wait, I forgot. I got into professional wrestling because of characters like AJ Lee and not because of how she worked. So that's just me personally. Fuck these guys, and yeah, happy that she's back, if for anything else, because of that.
You better keep going. You better keep going. It don't matter if you're tired. You better keep going. It don't matter what they got to say about you. You better keep going. You can get through it, but you better keep going.
Finally, we have a bit of an update on the Roger Jackson situation. I know we've been keeping up with this for the past couple of weeks now. I feel like, I don't know, I feel it in the pit of my soul that we're getting closer and closer to the inevitable arrest of Roger Jackson. But I think people need to understand as time starts to get closer and closer to his inevitable arrest that he's not going to get faced with attempted murder charges, right? He's not going to get faced with manslaughter charges. Obviously, Stu's alive. And quite frankly, he might not even get charged with aggravated battery. But there's still hope. There's still hope. So shout out to, let's see here, Romel Munez, who dropped me this link from this Legal Mindset video yesterday that I checked out. He goes into detail as far as what is the possibility and maybe even likelihood that Roger Jackson might end up getting faced with. So I'm gonna drop this video right here so you can watch it for yourself. I cut it up in pieces. It's not really that long. The long form video I'll leave in the description box below because he goes into more greater detail, more particular with makes the connection between what he feels Roger can get charged with versus what was his actual features that were fucked up that constitute this charge. But I'm gonna play this video for you right now. Check this out, and then we'll come back and talk about some other stuff as far as detail in the first half of this video.
They're very easy to prove based on the facts. I think it's a slam dunk case for assault and battery, but many view the penalty as too light, saying this was beyond assault and battery. Assault and battery feels too light for what happened here. It feels too loose for what happened here. So what other options are there? Well, there's a uniquely California option, which after speaking with California attorneys, once again, I'm a Florida attorney, not a California attorney, but I have some very good California attorney friends. And after speaking with them about a particular crime that may apply, this might be the one that would be appropriate in this case. And I'll tell you why. It's mayhem. That's under California Penal Code Section 203. And that reads, every person who unlawfully and maliciously deprives a human being of a member of his body, or disables, disfigures, or renders it useless, or cuts the tongue, or puts out an eye, or slits the ear, nose, or lip, is guilty of mayhem.
So like I said, I recommend watching the actual video in long form. I'm just kind of giving you the TLDR as far as what he's talking about. So apparently all these other things we've been speculating as far as what he can actually get charged on might not be the case because it'll be too hard, strictly because of what was the actual damages incurred because of the situation, and obviously because of the motive in itself, right? But this mayhem charge that apparently is unique to California could be pushed as a reason well, I guess a reason, yeah, but more so as an indictment in regards as to what he can be charged on or be held accountable for, which is good because it's like, okay, well, all this stuff is now being noticed, all this stuff is now being put on Front Street. It's like if it starts to circulate a little bit more online, when he inevitably gets picked up, then there should be no excuses, because you would like to think to yourself, well, if us or this, you know, small lawyer from Florida could tell you that this happens to be the case, then what will be your reasoning to let him go? I mean, to do any of this after this so much outrage these past few weeks in regards to Raja. I'll even do you one better. I might be a little bit, I don't know, a bit conspiracy brained here, but I don't know why I fully believe the only reason why they're taking so long to arrest Raja is because they want this, as far as the outrage, the emotions, to actually calm down a little bit. So when they inevitably pick him up, well, people aren't going to be as mad as they were previously compared to at the peak of the actual outrage. And it will be a lot easier to get him off. You know, like, oh, we want so desperately to get Raja out because it's California. The rule of law there is completely, utterly fucking broken compared to anywhere else in the United States, maybe outside of New York City and maybe Minnesota and maybe Washington, D.C. or Baltimore. It really is a competition between all those states. But nevertheless, though, I do believe that they're purposely, you know, procrastinating the issue just so they can have less people being outraged. So by the time they actually arrest them, well, not too many people care, or hell, maybe even some people forgot about the issue, right? But I do at least want to show you the penalties that stem off of this issue via legal mindset. So I'm going to continue on the last portion of the video and then we'll conclude it.
Let's say we get everyday mayhem. What's the penalty? Well, it's a felony. It's a felony. So Raja would become a felon, and he could get 2, 4, or 8 years in prison behind bars, and a fine of up to $10,000. Now, aggravated, of course, is up to life in prison with possibility of parole. I don't think he would get life. Now, if you look at it on the lowest level, let's say he got 2 years for this, 2 years behind bars for this, and of course, this might be modified as a first-time offender. There might be some sort of mitigation there or mitigating theory there. I think this might satisfy a balance between those that think, hey, assault and battery might be too light, but we're not going to get attempted murder. So perhaps mayhem is the right category for the Raja Jackson situation.
I mean, quite frankly, at this point, which, by the way, if I didn't say it beforehand, the link is down in the description box below if you want to watch the video full on. It's like close to 10 minutes worth of more information that I left out. Or actually, I think the video is like 8 to 9 minutes, but I did leave out like probably 80% of the entire video. So I highly, again, recommend checking out Legal Mindset's channel, checking out his video on this. He made another video about Raja Jackson beforehand, and he just typically does this. He's a lawyer. He goes over law, gives more clarification. Go check out his channel, check out his video if you want more information in regards to what I left out of this video. I just wanted to TLDR it. But that's what I was saying, though. I feel like I just want accountability. That's it. It's been going on for way too long now. Something vicious has taken place like this, and we see this on an everyday basis. I know you guys are very much aware of the situation that happened on the subway with the psychopath with the dreadlocks that randomly stabbed that girl in the neck. You know, the lack of accountability for these criminals is getting out of hand. You know what I mean? And I feel like the more and more you let small things go, the bigger they get and the less accountability is held because it becomes normalized, right? So I'm not going to let this situation go. You'll have people who will try to play the race game. You have people who are just wholeheartedly looking at the situation and saying things such as, oh, you know, he's young this, he's young that, he's a quarter of a century old. He knows right from wrong. You can make as many excuses as you want. In the end of the day, he did what he did. And for you to go out of your way to encourage, or hell, at this point, discourage accountability, and you want to play whataboutisms and suggest, well, this person didn't get this justice or this person didn't get this justice. Guess what? I want justice for that person, and I want justice for that person as well. You can point them out. We can go over the situation, and guess what? Inevitably, if they're in the wrong, they're in the wrong, and I want them to be held accountable, no different than what I want Raja to be held accountable for right now. I don't understand why this has to be an ongoing back and forth as far as why Raja should have some type of plausible deniability in regards to why he should be held accountable. Did he or did he not do it? No matter what you say, Did he or did he not do it? He did it. Okay, good. Give him the penalties. But I'll be honest with you. Do I think he's going to get any penalties? No. Do I think justice would be upheld? No. But I'm hopeful. I'm sitting back and I'm hopeful. We'll just have to wait and see, folks. We'll just have to wait and see. But I'm gonna let you guys talk about it. So these topics, all 4 the topics in today's video, I'm gonna let you guys talk about it amongst each other in the comment section below. How do you feel about the update in regards to the Roger Jackson situation? Do you feel that mayhem is applicable here? I'd like to get some of my lawyers in the comment section talking about this in particular. How do you feel about the fan going after AJ Lee and suggesting because she's not Minami Toyota, that means she's overrated? What about the person who went out of his way to go back and forth with the guy in the comment section after having to be told that choking children on live television maybe not a good optical look if you're trying to go off of your virtue-signaling grandstanding rules in today's society? I don't agree with it, but if you agree with it, then clearly you shouldn't agree with this, right? And how do you feel about AJ Styles' son going after Triple H and WWE as far as the booking of his father? Do you feel this is the final straw for AJ Styles? And if you do, does he retire or does he go to AEW? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. As always, my name is Millennial Smart, and I'll be catching you fine folks later. A deuces and a pea ice.